The devil wears many masks, and the Bible's warnings prove it time and time again. Its pages are filled with stories of women whose actions rocked nations, overthrew kings, and brought about destruction. It's a cautionary tale about a particular kind of woman, one who has traits that can mislead even the most powerful men. What if one woman's charm could destroy everything you've created? Is the Bible's caution against deceptive women still applicable to relationships today? Or is it an outdated warning from a bygone era that has little to do with modern society? Buckle up, because this could completely change your perspective on some behaviors. The Bible is brimming with heavenly insight, providing direction on issues of trust, love, and the complex nature of the human heart. Does the Bible actually provide advice on women's morals? And if it does, what specific warning signs does it highlight? In the biblical story of betrayal and manipulation, Delilah emerges as a woman whose cunning and calculated actions would ultimately bring the dramatic downfall of Samson, Israel's legendary strongman. Samson's story starts with a unique situation. A lady who is barren yet is destined to have a child that is unlike any other. An angel visited Manoah, his father from the tribe of Dan, and his mother, who is not named in the text, but is important in this divine plan. It's a quiet, private encounter between God's messenger and Manoah's wife. When she is alone, she hears a prophecy that will change her life. A child selected by God himself will be born in her barren womb. However, this child is not like the others. He will be a Nazirite, chosen for God right from the start. The angel issues strict directives: no wine, no alcohol, and no razor to touch his head. She must follow this holy commitment even while she is pregnant. Samson's calling is permanent, lasting from birth to death. He is handpicked and selected to fulfill a heavenly mission. God's blessing is evident as he grows. Samson is unique, different. He isn't just strong, he is incredibly strong. He has unmatched potential and a definite goal: to lead Israel against its enemies. God gave Samson strength, and he is known as the strongest man in the Bible. Would you like to see just how powerful Samson really was? Imagine a man wandering in a vineyard and a roaring lion leaping on him. Anyone else would have run for their life, but Samson wouldn't. He tears the lion apart with his bare hands as though it were paper. That same incredible strength drives him to confront an entire army of Philistines, 1,000 men, all by himself. And when the dust settles, Samson emerges triumphant, and his enemies scatter like falling leaves. What was Samson's greatest weakness? Women. The strongest man in the Bible was unable to shield himself from them, and no woman would dare to test him more than Delilah. God's chosen powerful warrior, Samson, had a fatal flaw, a fatal attraction. Now, let's define a fatal attraction. It's such a powerful, all-consuming attraction that it clouds reason and blinds judgment. No matter how strong you are, this passion makes you vulnerable. For Samson, this dangerous attraction was Delilah. Delilah was clever, self-centered, and fueled by greed. She was faithful to riches and silver, not to love. This was well known to the Philistine lords, who saw in Delilah a chance to defeat Samson, the irresistible force. They came to her with an offer. If she could seduce Samson and discover the source of his incredible strength, she would receive 1,100 pieces of silver from each of them. Delilah accepted the offer without hesitation because it was too good to pass up. What followed was a strategic game of manipulation and deceit. Delilah quickly made her way into Samson's life and developed what appeared to be a close, even intimate relationship. However, her motives were far from pure. On 3 separate occasions, she asks him from where he gets his strength, and each time he tells her a lie. Judges 16:6-12 reveals Delilah's cunning and relentless search for Samson's secret. It started off with kind words but deadly intentions. She pretended to be affectionate as she said, "Tell me, Samson, where does your great strength lie?" Samson replied, I'll get weak like any other man if I'm bound with 7 fresh bowstrings that haven't dried yet." Delilah didn't waste time. While Samson slept, Delilah bound him using the bowstrings that the Philistines provided her. She cried, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you," as warriors were ready to attack. However, Samson broke the bowstrings, and for now, his secret was safe. Delilah asked, "You've lied to me and made fun of me. Tell me now what you might be bound to." "I'll be weak if I'm tied with new ropes that have never been used," Samson said. Delilah set her trap again. She tied him tightly while he slept and watched in shock as Samson broke the ropes like a thread. This happened for the 3rd time as well, and once again, her attempt was unsuccessful. In a desperate attempt to influence Samson, Delilah said, "How can you say, 'I love you,' when your heart is not with me? You have made fun of me 3 times without revealing your greatest strength." Samson ultimately told her the truth because he was stuck in emotion, love, lust, or whatever it was. "I have been a Nazirite to God since birth, so no razor has ever touched my head. I shall lose my strength and become weak like any other man if I shave." Now that she was sure she would succeed, Delilah called the Philistine lords. According to the Bible, in verse 19, Delilah lulled him to sleep on her lap while hiding the trap she had prepared with her fake caring. She silently called a man, and with cruel accuracy, she shaved off the 7 hairs of his head, which represented his power and covenant with God. The true nature of Delilah's love, a longing for money, was exposed while Samson slept, unaware of his betrayal. Her deceptive behavior served as a terrifying reminder of how deeply greed can corrupt. But the truth is, this story is a reflection of the world we live in today, which is full of people who put on a front of love, but conceal their true motivations. Don't be fooled. Not everyone who smiles at you is looking out for your best interests. Not every person who comes into your life is kind. And certainly, not every beautiful face is a reflection of a beautiful spirit. Beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. Judges 16:21-22 depicts Samson's demise in a grim way. The Philistines captured him, removed his eyes, and dragged him to Gaza. They shackled him in bronze chains, reducing him to a mere slave, grinding grain in the prison. However, the Bible provides a ray of hope even in this dire situation. His hair began to grow again. Even though Samson, the world's strongest man, was broken, there was still hope for redemption. Samson's story serves as a sobering reminder that even the strongest men have weaknesses. Although he was a powerful warrior, Samson's weakness was not physical weakness, but rather his emotional weakness. David's love for women destroyed him as a great ruler. When faced with temptation, even the smartest of them all, King Solomon, failed. Samson's story was about both power and emotional weakness. Samson ignored the threat that Delilah posed in spite of all the warning signs. He told her the truth out of emotion, which sealed his fate. The tale of Samson is still relevant in the modern world. Some women, like Delilah, are cunning, self-centered, and willing to go to any lengths to achieve their goals. They will stab you in the back without hesitation. Many men's lives have been destroyed because of some Delilah. We have to deal with this harsh reality. Indeed, there are some amazing, God-fearing women in the world. You'll find them if you search hard enough. However, it's equally important to acknowledge that women like Delilah are out there, just waiting to attack. The fact is that they may even find their way into your life. The message here is obvious. Whether you're a man or a woman, don't let emotion or lust influence your decisions. If there's one mistake you want to avoid, it's making decisions based on emotions or lust. Let's explore 2 powerful forces, lust and emotions, the very things that can easily lead your life off track if you're not vigilant. Emotions come first. Everybody has them. Having emotions is not a sign of weakness, nor are they inherently bad. However, the Bible does not instruct us to follow our emotions. It never encourages us to let our emotions control us. This was Samson's mistake, and he paid a heavy price for letting his feelings guide him. Delilah didn't allow him to think. Rather, she tapped into his feelings by asking, "How can you say I love you when your heart is not with me?" That's when the danger started. If Samson had paid attention to his thoughts, they would have warned him not to trust her. Delilah was clever, and she went directly for his heart, playing on his emotions. Even though Samson was a wonderful man, his emotions clouded his judgment. His sentiments were so strong that he failed to notice the obvious signs that he was dealing with a woman who had a sinister agenda. There isn't a single verse in the Bible that tells you to follow your emotions. Emotions can be misleading. You may feel like you're on top of the world one day, and then you start to doubt everything. Think about the number of people who were in love 10 years ago, but are now hardly able to deal with one another. Emotions change. Samson would have seen the truth if he had paid more attention to Delilah's character. She was indeed gorgeous, but her only concern was money, and her motivation was greed. Maybe, just maybe, if he had seen her for who she really was, his story could have been different. Next is lust. It's a strong force, capable of weakening even the strongest man. Lust is not limited to men. It may also defeat a strong woman. Lust affects judgment, shifts thinking, and makes you blind to the consequences of your behavior. It destroys houses, depletes your finances, and ruins your health. Lust takes your joy away from you and pulls you into a hole you never thought you'd be in. Worst of all, lust creates a barrier between God and you. One lust-driven choice has the power to completely change your life, leaving you lost and broken. So, here's the thing. Avoid making decisions based on your emotions. Don't let lust guide your choices. It's a slippery slope.